Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to 365 Days of Gaming. I appreciate you taking time out to check the video out. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Much appreciated in advance. Now, I said early on in this series that RPGs are my favorite genre, and they are. But I have yet to do an RPG game for one of these videos. So I felt it was time to go ahead and, break that trend and get into it. And if I'm going to get into it, I got to do it with one of my favorites of all time. And that is Final Fantasy X for the PlayStation 2. Now, it's also out on other different platforms at this point, but that's where I played it first. And let me tell you, the first time I played this game was at my friend Marquis' house. Shout out again to Marquis. Again, it's going to come up. He's going to be an integral part in my video game journey. And I remember just watching the opening cutscenes and just being like, this is the future. This is it. This is the next step. This is the first PlayStation 2 game that looks and feels and presents itself as that next level of gaming. Now, this is after playing plentiful RPGs on the PlayStation 1, but this was the next level. And I know this game is very highly regarded in a lot of circles. I think it's the best Final Fantasy overall that I've played. 15 is high on my list, and I know that's not a very popular opinion, but that's just how I feel. My all-time favorite Final Fantasy game is not technically in the mainline entry, so I'll save that for another video. But if I have to pick a mainline one, it's got to be Final Fantasy X. I mean, the characters, there isn't a character that I don't like in this game. And with RPGs that have a larger cast, there's always a chance where I feel like, you can keep that person, or you can, I could do without that particular person. But not with this game. Everybody has their own backstories that you can go deeper into, or not if you feel like you don't want to. Like I said, visually just blew me away. Still, to me, looks great, even to this day. With the HD, restorations of it, looks fantastic. Clearly it's a product of its time, so that, the visuals aren't the greatest now, but I mean, you can tell what everything is, which is one of my general requirements of games. As long as I can tell what's going on, and you can definitely do that. But just the cast of characters, I mean, you got Titus, Yuna, Auron, Waka, Riku, Kamari, Lulu, and each of those characters play differently. They all represent certain classes. But the cool thing is the way they had you level up the characters through the spear grid is you technically can build people the way you want to. I don't necessarily recommend that, but that's your business. You can build them however you please. And Final Fantasy is always good, in my opinion, when there is an emphasis on the summons. And this game does it in one of the best ways. There are multiple summons that all have their own characteristics and abilities. Some of them you don't actually, have to get as part of the story, and that makes those summons even cooler. They all have their own little quirks about them that make them, strong in their own way. And I mean, just some of the best, super moves for summons, which is one of my favorite things, is finding out what's the ultimate move that each summon has, and leveling those up, is its own separate thing. And trying to make sure you got them charged up for their limit break before you get into a big battle, because you're gonna need it. And then even some of the characters who are, I guess, antagonists, you would say, like Seymour, who was a very well-known character in our circle of friends for many reasons, but most notably, when you fight him on the mountain, all I'm gonna tell you is make sure you have at least haste, but you probably won't haste Stagger before you fight that guy on that bridge. On the mountain, because he's not here for games. Actually, you fight him on a bridge and you fight him on a mountain, not to go into too much detail. But yeah, I remember, getting this game after I got my PlayStation 2 about a year or so after it came out, and just spending time just leveling up the characters, trying to get everybody's last weapons, and then, going further once you get that, because they put you on a whole nother planet when you get people's in-game weapons. And it's one of those games where the story is presented in such a great way that some of my cousins would come over after school, and they would just watch me play the game because they just wanted to watch the story unfold. It also has one of the best, if not the best, you know what, I'll say it. It has the best mini game from any Final Fantasy, and that is Blitzball. And the fact that we have not gotten a standalone Blitzball is a shame and almost a crime. Almost. So Square, I know you're not listening to me, but on the off chance you pass by this video, somebody, intern or whoever, the streets would like a Blitzball game. It doesn't need to make sense why it's happening, because if you play the story, you'll get why that may not be a thing. That doesn't matter. We need it. We want it. And we would like you to give it to us, please. But overall, if you are a fan of RPGs, or even if you're not a fan of RPGs and looking for something different to play, I recommend this game to you because it's presented in a way where most of the dialogue is voice acted. And I know for some people that doesn't mean much. Me personally, I don't mind reading, but I know for some people it changes, how they deal with the game. When they don't have to read every line, a lot of it's, voice acted for them. So they kind of like that. And I think, hey, if you want to appeal to a broader audience, you got to do stuff like that. And I thought that this game did a really good job of mixing what was good about Final Fantasy already and making it broadly appeal to people who may not have been Final Fantasy fans. If you remember back in the day, they were blasting the commercials for this game. And it is one of those PlayStation greatest hits, which I haven't really talked about too much on the other games, but it's one of those games that definitely sold a lot. And it was the first Final Fantasy, to my knowledge, maybe I'm wrong, to get a direct sequel with Final Fantasy X-2. And I gotta say, people, not really a bad game. I know it got a bad rap upon release. I get it, I understand, but not necessarily a bad game once you get past some of the complaints that people had about it. It's pretty solid in my opinion. But again, Final Fantasy X, great game. Check it out. Let me know if you played this game. What are your thoughts? Who's your favorite characters? Any memorable moments fighting any bosses like, Seymour, Unileska. I know she gave it to you because she gave it to me too. Or even Sin. Some of the fights with Sin could be tough too. But yeah, appreciate you taking out time to check out this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, and share. Be safe. Have fun. Peace.